Sad news in the pro wrestling world. Longtime wrestler and promoter of Memphis Wrestling, Jerry Jarrett, passed away at the age of 80. It's impossible to encapsulate this man's career, both in the ring and behind the scenes. He was very influential as far as how he promoted Memphis Wrestling, how he knew that personal issues drew money. I'm so grateful that he was actually able to tell some of his stories on Tales from the Territories about Memphis Wrestling and the Andy Kaufman, Jerry Lawler feud. And I really hope that the people at Vice were able to get some more footage and maybe we get to see an additional episode, because the stories that Jerry Jarrett could tell as far as just the experiences he had in wrestling, like, you know, his mother, Christine Jarrett, like his son continuing to carry on the Jarrett legacy. Jerry Jarrett meant a lot to professional wrestling, and he will be sorely missed. He lived a hell of a goddamn life. So many memories, so many great things that he provided as far as Memphis Wrestling. He knew what drew eyeballs to his program, what would draw eyeballs, and what would draw butts in the seats to the arena at the Mid-South Coliseum. Jerry Jarrett will be sorely missed. Rest in peace, Jerry Jarrett. You will definitely never, ever be forgotten. Now, I'm Jarl Renton with my review WWE NXT. We're on the road to Stand and Deliver. I'm yours. I'm probably going to run that joke into the goddamn ground. But they did start with an in memory of Jerry Jarrett graphic. That was very nice. Hopefully, WWE can do something on their YouTube channel. Maybe if there's a way to do like a Memphis piece and put it up on, well, it's not really the network, it's on the cock, but just do something for the YouTube channel. Show what Jerry Jarrett meant, even if it's a 10 to 15 minute piece. And I can only imagine what Jeff Jarrett's going through, but that was very nice that they at least did a graphic. To think that Jerry Jarrett was actually brought in 1993, I believe, in case Vince McMahon did go to jail, like, you know, because of the steroid trial. Jerry Jarrett would have been the man to run it, because at that point Memphis Wrestling was still going, but he understood how to, you know, work a promotion and do pretty well, and he obviously wasn't going to try to take it away from Vince. Would have been interesting to see what would have happened if he would have been running WWE for a while. Probably less cartoonish. Anyway, but of course, rest in peace, Jerry Jarrett. And it's Valentine's Day edition. Everybody's ready to have that VD spread all over. Yeah, and I felt like some of these segments gave me some, you know, forms of VD. In fact, I probably need several shots after some of this stuff. Look, NXT can do some good stuff as far as high athletic work and actually provide some decent moments, but it just feels like it doesn't feel genuine. It feels like a caricature, a cartoonish version of professional wrestling. Whenever they try to do something serious, it just doesn't feel great. So, Grayson Waller took on Tyler Bate in a match that featured highly athletic work. Tyler Bate is very good. Grayson is insufferably good. They did a picture-in-picture with JC Jane arriving, and more on JC Jane here in a bit. Sweet Jesus. Jumpstart by Waller because he's pissed. He feels Shawn Michaels is targeting him. He was trash-talking Shawn. Tyler Bate got upset, fired back. We got some good action here. We got the bop and the bang, and Waller being a full-on dickish heel. And then eventually he tried to use the ropes to, you know, hold down and get the victory. But the referee saw that, kind of kicked those away. And suddenly, no, I didn't do anything. And then the most devastating maneuver in all professional wrestling, the surprise roll-up 1, 2, 3. So Tyler Bate wins. Waller's yelling at the ref. They wander off, arguing, seemingly, and Tyler Bate's celebrating. And then Jensen tells Briggs he's never even been on base with a woman. Look, I'm not going to judge anybody. I mean, I'm not saying that's actually the case with that. Like, whatever you do, save yourself for marriage, whatever. Nobody should be judged for how little or how much action they end up getting by a certain age. I think he's 22 years old. The thing is, this whole deal with Briggs, Jensen, Fallon Henley, and Kiana James, and I like Fallon and Kiana as a team. I think they have bright potential. They actually are quite good. They individually have potential to be quite good in the coming, you know, months and years. This whole storyline just feels like high school drama bullshit. It's not good for wrestling. Now, don't get me wrong. It's not the worst thing, but it just feels stilted, not well acted. And actually that's the unfortunate thing. It feels acted. It feels like, oh, we're acting. But anyway, Fallon arrives and tells him what to do. Because Fallon's the more experienced. You don't really want Briggs to tell you how to deal with a woman. Because you really don't want that, because then it's just going to cause people to speak out about it. And if you want to know more, Google Josh Briggs speaking out. So JC Jane arrives, and then Grayson Waller is seen yelling at Shawn Michaels, Albert, or Matt Bloom rather, or Lord Tensai. Yes, he was actually Lord Tensai. They thought that was a good idea. He gets Waller out there, and Shawn Michaels says, go to commercial. The nice thing is when Waller was here and Albert was here, Shawn was able to keep his eye on both of them. I'm amazed that Shawn's such a great teacher, because he can't even control his pupils. Oh, I have so many more of these. I don't care. But Apollo was writing by a lamppost, seemingly, and then throws the diary down, or whatever, or the journal, and he's upset at Dabba-Kato. We shared so much. You were my brother, Dabba-Kato. And then Creative forgot about you. Genuine question. Did anybody remember Dabba-Kato was actually still part of the roster? I forgot. And he is here for revenge. Okay. JC Jane, holy hell, good God, yes. More of her, please. And when I first saw Toxic Attraction, I'm thinking, okay, Mandy, they're trying to revamp her character. And this is when, they first arrived. Gigi Dolan, met her when she was Priscilla Kelly. Couldn't have been nicer. Yep, my experiences. These are my experiences I had. And I was happy for her. I had not heard JC Jane. And pretty much from near the beginning, I was like, okay, she's interesting. She's got personality. And then I started to notice, even if it was a promo or just a segment where she's like, part of an interview, but maybe not getting to say much, she's just stealing the show. And not in a way where she's taken away from it. You just are drawn to watch her. And yes, you are obviously people are drawn to watch her because, look, she's hot. She is. And I don't mean that just in the sense like, oh, that's all she is. She's got great looks. She has proven that she is quite good in the ring and has gotten better. And she has a personality to absolutely rock it. Eventually, it's going to take time for them to realize what they have with her. And what they have is a breakout star. And I mean that. She has passion. She has the appreciation for wrestling. And she basically just cut a goddamn promo here. Chorus of boos. She said that she's on the tip of everyone's tongue. Moving on. And I'm sorry. Look at her. Look at her. Seriously, look at her. She looks great. But on the tip of everyone's tongue that she's sorry she didn't pull the trigger sooner. As far as getting, rid of Gigi, that she's the only one left standing. Video package of, all this stuff with Toxic Attraction. Sorry, Gigi, this is great. She says, I want you to listen to this very carefully. Listen, screw you. And then she heard all the people saying, why is JC even part of this group? She's the third wheel. She doesn't belong. I was never saying that. I maybe did have questions about the longevity of the group, but it was never having anything to do with the talent. I'm not saying I was the only person. There should be plenty of people on the you can be on the Gigi train if you want. On the JC train, how could you not want to be on the JC Jane train? That sounded a lot better in my head. But she was like, oh, I'm going to be the big star. And you know what? She should be. If they're going to rocket her, I'm all for it. If she could be the one to beat Roxanne, sure. I don't know if they're going to go with that, but her being this diehard heartbreak chick, as some people put it, I believe, on social media, I'm all for it. So this was a high point. What wasn't a high point was the next thing with Chase University. Thea is still spooked by all the stuff that Schism, particularly Ava Rain, did to her. What was a boost was Sol Ruka, talking about being a free spirit, surfing, playing volleyball, doing all this stuff, and her finish is called the Soul Snatcher. There are jokes that could be made there. I am not going to make those jokes, for I am a mature individual. But, good for her. You know what? And I'm going to be interested to see how long, how long they're going to have this character before they have to progress it. But as far as athleticism, she's got it. Tiffany Stratton versus Thea Hale. And look, I have nothing against these two. Tiffany is a very good athlete. Thea has fire. This schism stuff's dumb. It's bad. Creative should feel bad. And it's not even the talent's fault. Just the whole idea of the stable, this creepy stable, the smile with the purge type masks. And eventually everybody just scares the shit out of Thea, and she ends up losing the triple jump moonsault, which is impressive. That is very, very impressive by Tiffany. And then, Jesus. Javi wants Tatum to be his Valentine. She refuses because she's taken. And Ivy Nile chokes him out. By the way, Tatum and Javi are dating, just in case you didn't know. I mean, good for them. I mean, I don't care. I mean, good for them. Happy for y'all. But it's just, this was more bad comedy. And then suddenly, Isla Dawn was talking in a speaker that almost looked like it would have just been like a weird table or something like that. It's like, they hacked the sound system. Okay. Axiom Verge then took on Damon Kemp in a match that had a lot of German suplexes, where Axiom Verge was laying on his goddamn head, and then eventually he hit some thrust kick 1, 2, 3. Also, points taken off because we did not get to see Isla Dawn on television. Jensen and Kiana, we see clips of their social media date. I mean, getting to lay Kiana would definitely be, something you could hang your hat on. Fallon has to tell him what Briggs said. Tell me why. Why is this bullshit on my television screen? Nothing against the people involved. Grayson has been kicked out again. Here's Steiner, and he's getting booed now. I guess because they want Carmelo to win, which kind of makes sense, but why boo Steiner? He's been one of the few bright spots of this goddamn show. Here's Jinder and Indus Sher. Jindus Sher. There we go. There it is. I'm tired. And he's like, hey, I'm a former WWE champion. Reminder, this idiot was given the WWE championship, and SmackDown should have had his contract pulled. But then Braun Steiner is like, hey, you're you got the new three-man band here? Ha 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 ha. And I'm nothing against Steiner, but it's just whatever. The crowd pop 3MB. And we've got this match for next week. They got so many veterans that they could put down there, and they have Jinder facing off against Steiner. They want to kneecap Steiner, I swear. So the women for the main event are backstage. Roxanne, Mako Satomura, Kaden, and Katana. And Roxanne thanks Mako, and she says, I have my reasons. I mean, it was pretty goddamn obvious what was going to happen. Mackenzie's with Indy, who looks great. Good God, she looks great. Fuck whoever outed her, as far as, and since it's out on social media, I feel it's okay to say it, but apparently she's got a girlfriend. Good. I don't know who she is. Happy for them both. I wish them nothing but the best. Whoever outed them, fuck you. And, weird. Apparently, rumor has it, is a certain super diva may have done that. And we haven't seen them for a while. Maybe we won't see them ever again, because they are toxic. Indy wants a crack at JC. She wants to take JC down, and I lost my train of thought there. Let's go to Wesley's open challenge. It's Tony D'Angelo, and then Dijak attacks him, and Stax is like, probably should go help my boss, and did that. And suddenly, the lobotomized zebra shows up, and dear God, I can never escape the lobotomized zebra, Heavy Metal Von Wagner, on my television screen. Thankfully, he lost. I'm sure that he's a nice guy, and he's a fine athlete. People say he can hit a big boot. Yes, a few people could hit a big boot. Eric Watts could do a fine STF. That didn't mean that Eric Watts belonged in wrestling. He was a second-generation talent. And the lobotomized zebra, Heavy Metal Von Wagner, is a second-generation talent. And he's not good. So, there you go. Wesley won. Maybe in 5 minutes, which is about 4.5 minutes longer than any Von Wagner match should be. Hank Walker has ring gear, no new boots. Gulak says, hey, here, have my boots, kid. Okay, and then he lost to Charlie Dempsey, even though Hank showed potential here. Kept going for the armbar, did some stuff, and eventually tapped out to a variation of the Regal stretch. And then Gulak suddenly said, you know what, I'd rather go with Charlie Dempsey, and did. And now Hank Walker is left out in the cold. I would have thought they would have milked this a little bit longer. But then again, that would require me really to care. And that's nothing against the three people involved. Gulak's fine. Charlie Dempsey, you can definitely tell he's Regal's son. And Hank has shown some potential, so let's see how he is at the end of the year. Von Wagner is pissed. Stone basically makes the Come Tuesday joke because you're just a meme, Von. That's all he's ever going to be because look at the guy. He looks like a living meme. Help me help you. Times infinity. There is no helping, Von Wagner. Gallus is in the bar, Pretty Deadly play pool with them, and I question why tag team wrestling exists anymore. Ilya Dragunov is talking about J.D. McTuna. And J.D. McTuna apparently has a detached retina. Tricky Ticky Williams then calls out Ilya Dragunov because Tricky Ticky wants to die, apparently, because of what Ilya did when he attacked Trick, doing a run-in when Carmelo and J.D. McTuna were having their match. Ilya's pissed. They didn't have much of a fracas, and then J.D. McTuna shows up. I'm going to beat you so bad that you won't be able to hold your son. Then Trick attacks Ilya, and then McTuna's about to attack him, and then says, no. And then Carmelo's talking to Trick and basically says, you might not want to anger this guy, but don't worry, you got this. He don't got this. And then Jensen's about to get lucky with Kiana, and then Fallon suddenly shows up from another dimension, seemingly, with how they film this, and says, she's cheating on you. She said, I love you, Zach. Yes, Zach's my brother. Gee, it's almost like somebody called this happening a while ago when the thing first happened. Huh, high school drama bullshit. These people deserve better. Briggs doesn't. Briggs could kiss my ass for all I care. But Jensen, there is nobody that's going to take Jensen seriously. Kiana looks great. Boy, does she ever. And Fallon deserves better than this. Next week, Steiner and Jinder, JC and Indy, and Ilya and Tricky Ticky Williams. Then we get Roxanne and Meiko Satomura against Katana and Kaden. And the match was fine. I wrote down, huh. So clearly Meiko's going to help her win and then ask for a title shot. And son of a bitch, that's what happened. I didn't have anything against the main event. It's just by this point I didn't really care because this is more of an angle match. And it's hard for me to care about anything Katana's involved in. Kaden is fine. Katana just, I don't really think, means much of anything. Roxanne and Meiko, that ought to be kind of cool. Are we going to get that match in a couple weeks? What are we going to get that? They mentioned something about Roadblock. End of the line. So maybe we're going to get the, an NXT event for TV. Roadblock. End of the line. There you go. Okay, covered a bit more than usual, but that being said, that was NXT. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Retlin. I'll see you soon.